Seattle's morning news, as you've heard, major changes at Boeing. Commercial Airlines President and CEO Stan Deal is out, calling it a retirement as of today. And the CEO of Boeing, David Calhoun, also announced his retirement. That's effective at the end of the year. So, Chris, get us up to date on this. And more important, what this signals. Is this the final pivot back to engineering ahead of, stock price?
Well, I'm not sure you could call it that yet, because we really have to wait to see what kind of direction the company goes with in replacing Calhoun at the top at the end of the year. But it does at least signal the changes that most market analysts, most aviation insiders, most people inside the aviation industry, all the way down to the people who park the cars at Boeing, knew needed to happen. This had to happen in order to kind of show the world that they are trying to make changes, trying to get back to a little bit of their roots. But, I mean, you can't make a change like that after, however many CEOs we've had that have been, market people as opposed to airplane people, where the focus went from really satisfying shareholders and satisfying, getting those, as we heard from Stan Deal last week when he had a little mea culpa saying, we were really working about getting planes out the door as opposed to, I don't know, maybe making a quality plane and getting less of them out the door as fast.
I don't understand that, because in the airplane business, more than any other, cutting corners on safety is a bad idea, even if it costs more money, because it costs far more money to have just one screw up.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they would say they were cutting corners, but they definitely, when you're throwing up to 50 planes through a factory in a month, some things are going to get lost here and there. I mean, as we saw with the door plug issue, there's not even any paperwork that work was done. So, from Boeing's perspective, that we saw in some of the legal filings, they're even questioning whether or not that the plugs weren't put in or not. They don't know. They just don't have the paperwork, which is kind of unheard of. But will this mean a signal back to people who are running the company who, like Ray Connor, started and worked on the floor and worked their way up and knew this company from an airplane perspective as opposed to just another asset that I need to manage as a CEO at the behest of my board and my shareholders? But you're right. This had to be done in some way, shape, or form. It'd be very interesting to see, as I said, what they do with Calhoun's position at the end of the year. Of course, we've got the IAM negotiations underway already with a September sunset there. It's going to be a very interesting year.
Is it possible to create a culture where people who see a mistake can report a mistake without fear of reprisal? Yeah,
that's another issue that the company has to figure out, because we're hearing story after, one on top of each other. If someone is like, well, I wanted to say something or I didn't, or how many whistleblowers that have kind of come out recently who have said this, that, similar things. And not just here, also in South Carolina. So something has to be done where the employees feel comfortable to do that. The people who building the planes want to put out a safe product. Boeing wants to put out a safe product, but I think this is the decision that had to be made from not necessarily just a PR position in general, but to signal to the world, like, okay, what we're doing isn't working. We need to find some different leadership. Stephanie Pope's been with the company for 30 years. Again, someone who knows this company top to bottom. Not that Stan Deal didn't. So we'll see.
Is this Airbus's advantage, that because they're subsidized by governments, they don't have to feel the same kind of financial pressures Boeing does?
That is very helpful for their business model, certainly. Yeah, and it's not to say they don't have their problems, certainly, or they haven't had their crashes, or they don't have their incidents like this. They do, certainly. Every day. They just don't get reported as much. But from what you're saying, yeah, they're not worried about making money as much as the Boeing company is in terms of getting airplanes out the factory floor.